I'd like for us for a second to talk about the word why. Three letters, huge meaning that really freaks people out when you ask them. You get little kids, sometimes, I mean, you hear them pass you by in the mall and they're always, why? You know, it's like, oh, we can't get that, it's too expensive right now. Why? Well, you don't really need that. Why though? Like, well, how about we wait 2 weeks till we get another paycheck? But why? Like it's right here, right now. You know, it's the kind of word that can cause anxiety. Oh, so if it's not checked, but the way I'm looking at it is the word why in regards to our passion or passions. You know, it can be a person, a thing, um, the feeling you get in a certain place. And when I think of passion, the reason I brought up the word why is because I think of why do you get up in the morning? Or, you know, why do you keep yourself healthy in order to be better at this passion? Or, you know, why do you do the things you do in order to feel that fulfillment? So in looking at passion, I'm thinking of something that, and I don't want to say it's like, oh, I can't live without it or anything like that, but I'm thinking of something that not only are you talented at, actually, you know what, I take that back because you don't have to be talented at it. If you're passionate about dancing, and every time you hit the dance floor, everybody clears out and says, nope, not today, not me with them, and you still love it, that can still be a passion. It's just funnier to look at from the outside, but regardless, do your thing. Thinking about it, I don't know how many people look at that one three-letter word, why, this way. But even if you picture yourself in the morning, you know, that moment where you're still between wake and sleep, where you can kind of feel both sides of the line. You know, you feel the familiarity of your sheets against your skin. Maybe your alarm is kind of infiltrating your dreams, but you're still attached to that dream state. You know, that dream world you can still see, or you're still connected in some way. I'm talking about that specific moment. Now, a lot of people wake up and you'll say, like, you know what, I have a test today, or taxes are due, or my kid is sick, I'm not in love with my partner, or I'm in love with someone they don't know. I'm not talking about those kind of thoughts or your schedule of the day, you know, things that hit you as you come to. I'm talking about that moment right on the line between, yes, I'm alive, and I care about absolutely nothing in this moment. That's what I want you to picture right now. That's what I want you to hold on to, because in that moment, I believe that's where passion, that's where your why, there's that three-letter word again, that's where your why presents itself. Does that make sense? So I use painting. I'll continue with that. I talked about painting just a minute ago. And if your passion is translating what you see, what your eyes, what your brain, what your senses all combine to see and feel onto a canvas, onto a piece of paper, onto a napkin, onto your hand. It doesn't really matter what you're drawing on, or painting on. But if that's the thought that consumes you during the day, and you go to this job, you get there for 8:45, you try to be early because you're supposed to be there at 9, you know, and then you find yourself at 9:01 thinking, all right, only 8 more hours to go until I'm free and I can go paint. That tells you something right there, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's try and find another way we can back up for a second. I don't want to tell anyone that you need to find a why. You don't turn a certain age and immediately find your why or find your passion. And if your passion is going to that job for 8:45 because it starts at 9 and you love 8 hours of what you do, then do that. There are plenty of people out there that get up and say, I love to go to work today. But even if that right now is your path, I feel that everyone should at least have an idea, an inkling. That's a good word, isn't it? An inkling of what your soul wants you to do. And some people I lost just now because I said soul, but whatever you want to call it, whatever that inner being, whatever those inner vibes, whatever that enrichment within you wants to do, I do believe we should at least acknowledge it. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, you ask kids, and people have said this before, but you ask kids, you go into any class and you say, Bobby, what do you want to be? And, Bobby says, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to fly one day, or I want to be better than Michael Jordan at basketball. And some people, you get some people who say, okay, Bobby, good for you. Why don't you write that down in your journal? And they don't believe Bobby. If your name is Bobby, I'm sorry, I'm just using this as an example, but since when is it impossible? I mean, we see amazing things every day, and we also see things that are so traumatic and unbelievable, yet they've become the everyday, and we're just numb going through life. And that's really what I'm talking about, is getting away from that numbness, getting away from that cold shock that we get throughout life. Little moments, I guess. So if there was one message, I guess it would just be that nothing is impossible. And for your passion to truly come to you in that moment we talked about between sleep and wake, or whenever it comes to you, don't worry about outside influences. This has nothing to do with the job you have to do to pay your cell phone bill. Nothing to do with, do I have to eat ravioli for 2 months straight, or can I go out with friends? I'm not talking about what you have to do or what you feel you need to do in order to survive and continue on to the next day, because each person has their own battles that they armor up for every day. I'm simply talking about that passion and allowing yourself to recognize that it's within you. Don't shut it down. And please don't say tomorrow, because that's a whole nother issue. Don't say, I'll recognize it tomorrow, I'll do this tomorrow. Just let's not do that today. When you hear that word, that 3-letter word, why, I just want you to, you know what, because you're listening to this, maybe you'll hear it today. But when it comes to finding your passion and recognizing your passion, please hold on to it. Because there's nothing you can't do. And if it is your passion, it's worth doing. I'll leave you with this one little variation of a story so everyone knows about the tortoise and the hare. Same old story. One's slow, one's fast. We've all been there. But just think for a second, of the hare being cocky, and everyone kind of looks at the hare saying like, oh, he buzzed around, wasted time, he should have just won the race, the tortoise slow and steady, all this kind of stuff. But if we delve deeper into the tortoise, why was the tortoise at the start line in the first place? You understand what I mean? Like, I think anyways, if you're going to go to the start line, there's a belief that you can finish. Did the tortoise know that the hare was gonna be a goofball and do his thing and end up losing. Maybe he had an idea, but you don't start something just because you see the glory of the finish. Start it for yourself, and whatever happens along the way will happen. So when you think of your passion, when you think of your why, that's all for you to decide. No one else has to influence that feeling you get inside between that moment of dreamland and wakefulness. No one has to get in there. So in the morning when you wake up, just see what comes to you. It could be nothing, just a moment of serenity, but embrace that too. You take even that millisecond to yourself every day and see what happens. Why?